All right, this is the Stocks with Josh show. I'm at Vid Summit in Dallas, Texas, where we're learning more about content creation. I've been hanging out with Mr. Kenan Grace.
How's it going, everybody? I'm Kenan Grace from the Kenan Grace YouTube channel, and I'm honored to be here. Thanks for having me, Josh.
If any of you are not following his page, go over to Kenan Grace and hit subscribe. So let's talk a little bit about the markets, guys. The markets, we had a really big fall. Now we had a little bit of a recovery today. Now I alerted calls right at the open because I saw that we were building structure above our pre-market high as well as our morning market high. But it was crazy volatile. We saw these flashes down striking the VWAP repeatedly, but every 5-minute candle closed above it. So we held the call positions. And we rode that up for a nice 40% gain. It depends on which option you got into, how much you might have gained. If you're trading ODTE, you did better. If you're trading the next expiration, you did a little bit less. But I got out of that position because we had data coming out at 10 a.m. Eastern time that I knew would move the market. And I had a funny experience I've got to share with you guys as far as day trading. And we're gonna cover a really hot stock that you need to be paying attention to, 2 of them. And I'm going to be talking some crypto with another special guest here in a minute. So stay tuned, we got some important stuff in this show. But I was sitting there, me and Kenan are both attending this event together. We're in the main auditorium, and I'm looking at the chart of the SPY, and I'm literally seeing a head and shoulders pattern forming. And I'm thinking, okay, this is getting ready to clearly turn bearish. And I look over and Kenan is in the middle of buying puts. And he's like, man, you and I are looking at the same thing. There's clearly a head and shoulders pattern. Guys, I'm telling you, this stuff becomes easy in the course of time. When I first started, just the term head and shoulders would have confused me. But basically, it's when the market begins to shift in the momentum. You get a spike up, it pulls back, then you get a higher high, and it pulls back to a neckline, right? And then it attempts to make that right shoulder. And the fact that it makes a lower high on that third pump tells you the weakness is coming in. So I let the family know that Kenan had jumped into puts. And how did that go, Kenan?
The puts turned out great, and it happened extremely quickly. What I want to encourage everyone here to do is to not get so married to one direction in any single day, because things can change on a 5-minute time frame, a 10-minute time frame, even a 1-minute time frame. So Josh, like he just said earlier, he was playing it up the first, let's call it 30 minutes to an hour of the trading day, and then I played it down. I didn't get in on the way up, and he didn't get in on the way down, but we both made money. And then we decided, let's not overtrade. Let's slow down, let's take what we won, and then let's consider what we're going to do, knowing that September is one of the most volatile months in the stock market in general. You can make money up, you can make money down, and what I want to encourage everyone to do is actually go back to the basics. Josh was just talking about a head and shoulders pattern. If you don't know what that is, simply Google it, and then you'll see what it looks like, and you'll say, wow, I've seen that on the charts before. I want you to look into the basics, just general chart patterns, bull flags, bear flags, wedges, head and shoulders. Keep it that simple. Add that to your toolbox, because in September, so far that I've seen, crypto, stocks, options, they've been just rolling with the standard, regular old patterns. Nothing fancy has been happening, but you got to be able to see it. You got to know it. So put that in your toolbox.
So we've been talking at the start of this about day trading, but I'm going to talk a little bit about a potential stock to watch for investment, and I'm going to bring on another special guest. But before Kenan, you go, I titled my last video "Sell September."
Yeah.
And you know, I got heat, or I posted that video early yesterday, and people were like, "Oh, Josh, I love you, but you know, you're getting too bearish." Of course, the day closed 600 points down on the Dow, so I wanted to go back and be like, was I? Was I? But here's my question for you. You know, this is what, even though I titled it "Sell September," there's one thing that I'm sure of, which is that it's going to be a volatile September.
Yes.
I'm curious your thoughts on the market going forward, Kenan.
So my thoughts are like this. The stock market, the crypto market, the options market, the futures market, you got to remember, we're trading with algorithms, we're trading with people as well. There are people who are running institutions who are actually making huge moves, and then there's policies that change, there's new political entities that get into politics now or get their seats back, whatever's going to happen, who knows. But all of these things are going to encounter and interact with how we are going to have to play the market in September. You got to think about this extremely specifically. What if September plays out how you expect it to play out? You expect it to come down, right? Okay, learn how to make money on the way down. Learn how to make money also on the way up in case it doesn't happen. Like I said before, don't get married to any one direction. But if I had to put money on it, I would imagine that September is going to either be a down month, like it has been historically since about 1950. But if not, are you then going to say, well, I'm not going to play it up? No, you have to say, I got to trade the market that I am in and not the one that I want to be in.
I love that. I think I'll leave this final thought in this conversation is that right now, what could happen to a lot of people is they're getting very fearful, because remember, it's always going to be fear or greed that drives investment decisions. You're always going to deal with it, and everybody deals with it. And what people are afraid of right now is that September is going to be bad, and we are on the heels of a recession.
Oh, this is what I wanted to say too. Pay attention to SQQQ. If you haven't looked at that already, pay attention to SQQQ. This is one that's going to have extreme trading volume now, because those who know about it, they're thinking, okay, September's a down month. This thing can moon. The options of it can moon. The stock itself can moon. Doesn't mean that it will, but it means that the volume is going to be there now, and it may not have been there in the past. So
he's
SQQQ.
100% right about that. Thank you, Kenan, for joining me. It's a privilege.
Appreciate you.
I'm gonna bring out my next guest, which you guys have not seen on the show before, is a woman called Investing with Ashley. This is Ashley. Please come on over. Oh, I'm sorry. Trading with Ashley. Trading with Ashley. Thank you for being a guest today. Now, while I was trading and chatting with Kenan on my right, you were on my left, and you were trading what stock?
Okay, so I was trading ASTS. It is a space mobile. You know how you'll be driving in the country and you'll just totally lose cell service, and how frustrating that is. Well, they are solving for that issue. So they are launching a satellite on September the 12th that will give eventually worldwide coverage. So it's so exciting, and so I actually was alerted to this stock by two of my students, Jake and Donovan. And once I was alerted to it, I started looking at the options. Now, I sell options for a living, and I know that you buy options quite a bit, so I'm on the other end of the trade. So what I was doing is, I was telling my Discord members, I said, go buy this stock, and then let's sell a call option that expires literally in 2 days. So we bought the stock for around $34. We sold a call option that expires in a few days. We were paid $1.50 a share for that. Plus, when our shares get called away, that'll be profit as well. So it was such a wonderful opportunity, but the reason we were able to make so much money on that stock is because the volatility is so high. And it's high because there's a lot of excitement.
Well, and I did a little bit of looking at it, and I shared an article in the Stocks with Josh Discord, introduced everybody to the stock to put it on their watch list. This thing is up 300% in just the last couple months. Now it is pulled back from its high. And if you're interested in a long-term position, I kind of feel that $28 to $30 region would be a safer entry, but I'm just curious your take on it. I know you love leaps. Do you own a leap on this?
I do, and it's up. I bought the leaps yesterday.
Okay.
And it's up today 50%. So I've already made
Not
$1,000 just sitting there next to all of you. It was such an exciting.
So you made $1,000 on that today?
Just this morning.
Nice.
Yeah, it was great.
Well, guys, the details of that are in the Discord. I alerted it in the GOAT Technicals. You can do a little bit of research on that, and I will follow up with you guys on this particular play now that my good friend has brought it to my attention. I appreciate you sharing your experience with that trading, and we're going to keep an eye on it. Thank you.
Absolutely.
Ashley.
Good luck.
All right, I've got another guest for you guys. This guy can bench, I believe, 300 to 500 pounds. And he's on his third
3 pounds or 500?
protein shake today. My man Tim Warren. Tim, thank you for being here today.
That's
First
good
of
to be
all,
here.
it's a pleasure to see you. This is 2 events I've had a chance to visit with you on in the last month. So real quick, before we get into the hot crypto play, I'm just curious, what have you taken from this event that we're at so far?
meeting some really cool people. There was a guy last night we met who's like the #1 influencer in the trucker space.
Really?
His channel's Mother Trucka something.
Oh, that's
it's
right. That's right.
Really interesting guy. But it's cool to get his insight on things. Because obviously we're looking at news every day, we're looking at charts, but his experience getting to actually work with truckers and then major CEOs of every major company you think about, he actually told us, he's like, hey, I don't trade because I'm afraid I'll get arrested for insider trading because of the information. I was like, but are you legally allowed to tell me about it? He's like, yeah, I can tell you. I was like, well, there you go. I'm not going to get insider trading. I'm looking forward to connecting with him even more because, again, his insights on seeing, like, we tell our community all the time, when you're investing and you're trading, you need to understand you live in two worlds. You live in the world of reality. The reality is people are struggling right now to put food on the table and to keep their clothed and housed, grocery bills. I mean, tell me how far the last time I went to a grocery store and spent $100, how far that went compared to
Snacks.
a year ago.
Snacks.
That's reality.
That's the truth.
But we live in a world of data where the data still is favorable, and so it causes some people to still be long on the markets, and I'm still bullish on the price of a lot of things moving up in the next year. But getting his perspective of how like truckers are dealing with this, because they're the heart of the goods and services of this country. They know better than anybody how things are flowing. And so he was probably one of the most interesting people I talked to so far here, just getting his fresh insight from kind of an inside perspective of how the economy is actually working. And it's one of those things that makes you think like, yeah, the data points right now look good. Are we in a form of a bubble that's going to pop here in the next year, 2 years, 3 years?
Well, let me balance that idea with a. I don't know if that was a bearish idea, but let me balance.
It's a long-term bearish, like long.
Okay, let me give you guys a long-term bullish idea that came out of the keynote speaker that I listened to this morning, Tom Bilyeu. This guy's a billionaire, CEO, founder of a number of businesses that he sold, and he spoke last year and he spoke again this year, and he was talking about AI. And by the time I was done, I was further convinced that the chip makers are not on decline, that we are going to need a heck of a lot of chips to accomplish what he's saying. And he more or less spoke to a room of influencers, maybe there's thousands of people there, and he said, everything you're doing, everything that you're creating is going to be utterly disruptive and flipped upside down in the next 2 years by AI. There's going to be virtual U-bots that are going to be producing content 24/7, right? And in real-time rendering, and really cast a vision for the excitement of AI. I understand the recession narrative that we're in, okay? And I hear people talking about the mother of all recessions. The problem with that idea is that it has simultaneously coincided with one of the most significant global, cultural, economic changing events in history, which is the birth of artificial intelligence, right? I also heard the ex-CEO of Google in a YouTube interview that had been put up. He was at one of the Ivy League universities, ended up getting taken down because of some of the things he said. And he was commenting on the fact that the AI is just, he was talking about the disruptive nature to it, and that we had run out, that we've absorbed all information that's ever existed in humanity has already been absorbed into these AI models.
Wow.
And that now these engines are looking at taking that information and basically the AI engines researching on it to grow new knowledge that we as humans have not produced. Right, and so things are moving very quickly. All right, I wanted to talk to you about the hot crypto pick of the day. Now, I alerted it in the Stocks with Josh Discord that Solana was green in a sea of red, and I did a little bit of research, and I was just again reminded that Solana as a pair against the two big boys, Ethereum and Bitcoin, has been kicking their butt. All right, and then even though the whole market dipped, Solana came back with some power. Now, here's the main point I want to give you guys. Solana is a major position for me, and why? Because as we've gone through this crypto cycle, it continues to outperform. And here's what I've noticed, is that whenever the market is down in the gutter and red, the first sign of life that we're getting close to a reversal has been Solana popping its head up. So Solana popped its head up. I still think we're in a volatile month for crypto. I still believe that Bitcoin could flash to 54, and it might have even done that while I've been at this event. I'll have to check the charts. But I believe that we're in a volatile month. But I'm telling you, Solana's popped its head, and you don't want to be ignoring it. So take a look at Solana today and ask yourself if you've got the position that you want to for a crypto that's going to be leading the bull run by December. Any thoughts on that, sir?
In the crypto space, a lot of people, obviously Bitcoin stands out. The truth is, when you think of the word crypto, Bitcoin really is not crypto. Bitcoin is already a full-blown commodity. It should be talked about like gold or oil, but yet it's still in the crypto world, we call it there. Then you have Ethereum, and Ethereum is the big dog. There's really, when you look at it, there's a big difference between Bitcoin and Ethereum's market cap, but then an even bigger difference between Ethereum and the next man up. However, Solana is the coin. I think that Solana is actually getting into a camp, Josh, where it should be more considered in the same ballpark as Bitcoin and Ethereum than it should the rest of the crypto space.
I agree with you on that.
So that's a really hot one. Two other picks that we've been watching over on Investing Bros, even this morning. Helium has been trading, HNT, it's been trading inverse to the rest of the crypto space. So keep it on Helium. There's some room to the upside. And while I think this other coin is going to calm down a little bit, but it has some big news that can be very bullish, keep an eye on Aave. Aave's been very unimpressive so far this bull market, nothing special. But when you look at this chart, it is one of the closest coins right now to getting back to the highs of this year, whereas a lot of other cryptos are down 50, 60, some 70% from recent highs. Aave is picking up its steam now that it didn't get back in the fall of 2023 and early 2021. I think both Helium and Aave are coins to watch over the next couple of months that could be pretty interesting.
Well, on your Helium pick, I have 4 Helium miners, and I have had them since the last bull run.
There we go.
Slowly accumulating me Helium, and because of it, I got to go check and see see how that account's been going. Helium back in the last run was pretty high, and so when it drops to the floor, I've never sold any out of these miners. When it drops to the floor, you tend to ignore it, but now you get me excited about my miners coming back to life.
You know, in the crypto space, people have been complaining that the last couple of weeks have been extremely boring, sideways. Well, not for Helium owners. And you look at those charts, the longer time frames, I don't think that trend is coming to an end. I think Helium is going to experience some more positivity, even if the crypto markets, and I know Keegan talked about it, I know that Josh talks about it all the time. I love what Keegan said about trade the market you're in, don't trade the market you want to be in. We're bullish. I'm bullish long term. I think we're still in the middle of a bull market. The 4-year cycle, whether it ends this cycle or not, is still in play, and that means over the next 12 months we're going to have positivity. But in the short term right now, and they talked about a head and shoulders pattern, I believe, in the stock market. I don't think we're going to see a head and shoulders in Bitcoin, but we're seeing the equivalence of that lower high. People are excited. I think just for coming on here, I saw Bitcoin's at 58.4, but it's setting a lower high, Josh. And that the concept of going down below 55K is not off the table, but there still are possibilities out there for some coins to long. Other coins, like Keegan said, take advantage of the market you're in, look for a short position, and write it down and make some money.
Yeah, I think that even if we got rejected at 58, I think we would, which would be a lower high. I also believe that we're going to make a higher low at 54, right? The last one was below 53.
Then the one in July.
And I think all that we're really doing is compressing through the month of September with volatility to break out later this year. That's my bias.
I agree.
That's my bias. Tim agrees. I have to acknowledge the cameraman behind the scenes is Mr. T. Shroom. That is Tim's buddy on Investing Bros. Thank you, Mr. Shroom, for taking the video for us today. Don't neglect going over to their page, as well as Investing with Ashley, or is it Trading with Ashley? Trading with Ashley. I'm so sorry. Trading with Ashley. Trading with Ashley, and of course my man Kenan Grace, which we all love. I appreciate you guys joining me today. Hit the like and don't neglect the subscribe to get the next hot video. Peace and blessings. Take care.